Morning, everyone. Everyone being John and Steve
And someone else. There's
and
at least one other person.
someone else. Coming in a little early before the show. For those that got here early. I'm sporting there's Scarlet Swordfish. Sporting my Mac OS 8 Sherlock shirt.
Ooh.
This was the shirt that was provided me as compensation for doing demos of Mac OS 8 at Computer City when it first came out.
Was that down on Mariester Cutoff?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's they actually had a fairly decent little Mac corner. I remember buying Carmageddon there.
Yeah. Yeah, I forget how they contacted folks. Or maybe the word was put out through Guy Kawasaki.
Mm.
They were looking for Mac enthusiasts I guess they figured that we would do a lot better job than those retail employees of those respective stores.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm sure we've all had the situation of going into a store that sold Apple products and trying to talk to the person there.
And
I still remember going into back when Walmart actually was selling Macintoshes.
Wow.
And they had one there, and I was asking the guys, like, all right, so what processor is in this one? He's like, I'm not exactly sure. I think it's a 486.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just turned around and walked away because, yeah.
I think I spent the whole weekend there at the store. I was just nonstop.
Oh, that's awesome.
Going through and selling Macs. Yep. Actually, I don't even think this isn't actually. I should correct myself. This isn't the actual shirt that I was given. The actual shirt I was given came in a block, a plastic wrapped, not quite a cube, shrink wrapped and whatever. That one I still have someplace. I never.
Oh, nice.
I think what you were supposed to do is they gave you that shirt and you're supposed to wear that shirt while you're doing the demos. But of course, there's no way I'm taking it out of the plastic wrap. So I wore my own shirt, and then I kept the shirt. It's somewhere. This one I got probably as part of a lot of Apple shirts later on.
Mm-hmm.
I have to find that. That would make a good that T-shirt would make a good item for display in my cabinets here.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Are you wearing a computer-related shirt, or I see some?
It's just a geeky shirt. It's the Never Trust Atoms. They make up everything.
Oh yes.
Oh, we're getting quite the gang.
Mm.
I see Steve. I see Scarlet Swordfish, Klaus, Jeremy, Blondie One, Chris Logan. All things DG.
Eagle-eyed viewers might see a couple of new computers on my shelves. Well, new to the shelves, not new to me, and certainly not new. I crammed them in there. I waffle back and forth between getting a lot to show, display, and having them too crammed in there, which they're starting to be that way.
So it is a very precise balance.
The G3 all-in-one is crammed in there now next to the G4 Cube. And because I was sitting in my garage and I couldn't bear to have it sitting in the garage any longer. And there was an iMac, an Indigo iMac you see there now next to the Color Classic 2, between that and the Mac TV. That Indigo iMac, I think that was in my attic in a garbage bag, or wrapped in a garbage bag. And for the life of me, I don't remember when I put it up there, how many years it sat there. So it looks pristine.
Yeah, the
So
indigo is such a nice, rich.
yes, there's no real rhyme or reason as to why it needs to be in the primary display, other than I need to get it out of the attic, and
Mhm.
so there it is. So
Well, it's one of those things that you can swap out the iMac every now and then, just to throw a different color up there.
right. Although from this view you can't really even see the color.
Good point.
All right, we're getting down to the wire here. We're gonna start our recording here in a second.
Yeah, I'm all set.
I didn't even update the dates. Okay, let me make a couple of tweaks here, and let's go in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the RetroMacCast with James and John. This is episode 569 for April 25th, 2021. Good morning, John.
Good morning, James. How are you?
Oh, we just got that. Will you mess around with your audio settings?
I'm not sure what's going on now.
I'm getting that echo again.
Wow.
It was me last week, and now it's John with the audio.
I have stopped recording.
All right. Well, I'm still recording, so we're still good on that front while you work that out.
You want to just check and make sure it's going good, and we can start that over again with just you recording, perhaps?
Well, I mean, it doesn't sound awful. Like you're still, if you can clean it up somehow, whatever you need to.
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out. What's going on?
Switch you need to flip, dial you need to turn. It's just a little robotic for some reason. I don't know.
Here, let's try this.
It was fine right before we started, so I don't know if it was related
to
you.
Let me try again.
All right.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
It's still there.
Test.
No real echo. I'm just getting a kind of a. Everybody says it sounds fine.
I think this has got it now. I had to turn off.
Yeah, just very compressed.
What are my output devices? Can you hear me?
Yeah, keep talking.
No, you can't hear me, can you?
I can hear you.
I can't hear you. Okay. Wow. All right.
John's going to mess around a little bit.
All right. I'm pretty sure I know what's going on. Hang on.
Oh, it works now.
Well, yeah, because I'm not recording now.
Oh.
So it's doing that same thing. As soon as I hit recording, I can't hear you. But give me one moment here.
I can record it.
Okay. I'm pretty sure it has to do with the pizza box and the audio settings that I threw on it, so it wasn't causing.
We've got an experimental audio setting, which we'll
we do today. Yeah,
here in a bit. All right, let's start over. You ready?
All right. Yeah, all set.
And I'll record it all.
Okay.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the RetroMacCast with James and John. This is episode 569 for April 25th, 2021. Take 2. Good morning, James.
Good morning, James.
Is it still? I think I still got that little compression artifact coming from you.
Well, I can't tell you what's going on with that because, I do have. I'm not recording anything right now. I've noticed my internet seems kind of slow this morning.
Maybe that's having an effect. It's all right. It's not ideal, but we do need to. I guess we'll soldier on. Maybe it'll clean itself up.
Yeah. Other than restarting my iMac. I don't know. Yeah.
Boy, the woes we've been having with the live show.
Well, maybe it's time I upgraded to something than a 2011 iMac. Maybe that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's an internet problem. They say your
Steve mentions that. It's very compressed. Also, you want me to go ahead and try to do a restart? And,
all right, go ahead.
Or do you want to press on?
Go ahead and restart it and come back in.
All right.
I'll just sit here and
talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah. Well, while John restarts, we'll sit here and kill time. I'm not sure what else to talk about. Well, I guess I'll give you a preview of what the experimental setup we were going to look at some old games, right? These Cassie and Green games, Sky Shadow and Mission Starlight, and those games are pretty graphics intensive and don't really do well under emulation. So doing it in Basilisk 2 was just not going to work. So John got out original hardware to do that. But then how do you share those screens with the YouTube audience? You got to pipe it into your Mac somehow through one of these older Macs. So he strung together a bunch of different adapters, found some pretty good solutions these days for image capture through HDMI, and of course had to do some VGA splitting and VGA to HDMI conversion, and the result is pretty nice video, very smooth. There's some aspect ratio problems that occur when you make those jumps. It doesn't actually preserve the 4:3 correctly, and then the audio, we had to use the speakers of the old iMac or the old Mac, whatever. And I'm not even sure what it is. He calls it Pizza Box, so I'm not sure which model it is. It's a LC of some sort. But anyway, and then we got to hijack. We got to get that video into the stream, and so he was creating a separate entity, because what happens is when you have that HDMI input capture device, it comes in your Mac as a camera. And so if it comes in as a camera, then you have to create a separate participant in our conference here, which comes along with its own audio. And anyway, so you have to manage all this, and we were having echo problems because he'd have to mute it, and then he'd walk away and it would somehow pop back up. And so I don't know if any of those things are related to that right now. So he's going to reboot. Mac 84, you got your camera on? You want to jump in? Steve, you want to come in and kill time with us? Speaking of problems, I've been using a Sony digital camera as a webcam using a Camlink adapter, and it decided to stop working for me today. So I'm back with a cheaper webcam, although I don't know that it doesn't look too bad. Here's while we're sitting here waiting for John to rejoin. So we've got eBay finds coming up later. There's a couple of, one that's really interesting. You just don't see these things come up very often. Anybody know that? Oh, here John's coming back in. We'll talk about that later. Let me add him to the stream. Okay, John is back here.
I am almost.
Video looks clearing. The sound sounds good.
Well, we're going to see what happens when I reconnect the other device.
Oh, you know what?
I'm wondering if that
was hogging all your bandwidth because you're.
I'm wondering. Yeah,
you're hosting
We're going to try.
You've got two clients to our stream.
We are going to try. Give me one moment here.
And of course, as good as our download speeds are, our uploads are not very good. Steve, aka Mac84, tells us he uses a DB15 to VGA, VGA to HDMI professional scale, and an HDMI 3 cheapo capture box. Yeah, actually, John's computer has a VGA out, so he was able to skip the DB15 to VGA step.
Well, it's just got one of those little adapter boxes, you know.
Oh,
it's just a little. Yeah, so I mean, the 475 is still the 15 pin.
It is, okay.
Yeah,
it's got those. They have the little dip switches in there that you have to.
No, this one is pretty much just a straight up adapter. No dip switches on this one.
All right, you want to try and start here? again?
Yeah, let's give it a go. I'm not hearing any weird audio, and I've got both inputs going on.
I haven't
Um,
added it to the stream. I'm fearful to do that, but
okay,
we
yeah,
will
I'm still
do that.
getting the weird feedback on my when I record, but we're
Don't
just going to
don't.
go with you recording, and we'll see what happens.
All right, let's go in
Yeah,
three,
let's do this.
2, 1. Welcome to the RetroMacCast with James and John. This is episode 569 for April 25th, 2021. Take 3.
Good morning,
Oh my
James.
gosh. And there it is again.
Oh no.
And I don't know why. Maybe I'm creating those problems. Is that possible? I don't see how me. Oh, you know
Right.
what?
What's that?
I bet you it is. The funny thing is, all right, keep talking now. Say something.
All right, I'm saying something. Are you saying something? I'm saying
I
something.
am saying something. I don't know.
Okay, Klaus says it sounds fine on their end, so maybe it's just on our end.
Yeah.
I am
Okay.
getting that my picture looks. Yeah, I think what it is just I could take out the pizza box until we're ready to
Uh-huh.
use it and see if that helps, or we can just press on
Yeah.
and we'll play around.
All right. Well, anyway, we're having all kinds of audio problems here. I had them last week. John's having them this week. I've been messing around with an experimental setup to live stream these old games that we're going to look at later. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah,
Hello to everybody in the chat. We've got eBay finds coming up, and then we're going to take a look at a couple of games, Mission Starlight and Sky Shadow, and also discuss the means at which John was able to get those to display live in the stream. So we'll be right back with some eBay finds. Yeah, it's a head scratcher there with the audio. We're gonna have to.
well,
Spend some
if we
time
do this
afterwards.
again, what I'm going to do is instead of trying to route everything through the 2011 iMac, is I'll set up a laptop and
Mm-hmm.
I'll come in with a separate computer for that, because I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty sure that's what it is. It's just too many things hooked up to my 2011
Yeah.
iMac.
All right. All right. You ready for eBay finds?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Let
I am
me.
not ready. What am I talking about? I've got to bring my
Oh
Safari
yeah.
back up after my restart.
Well, you
Give me
get it
one moment.
going, and I'll just go ahead and start. We're gonna go in. Oh, we probably want to show it here. All right, let's go in 3, 2, 1. It's time for the eBay finds. Last week we had that test drive a Macintosh brochure. Very rare. Very rare. Let's see. That sold. It did not sell. It's still available. Buy it now. $100. Then the Micro Loop System 1100. That's the spirometer that incorporates an Apple IIe, so you can measure your, I guess, your breath, the amount of air you push out and presumably bring in. That one is still available for buy it now, $4,999, or you can make an offer. And then the Apple Braun calculator. Can you imagine? It's still available. Buy it now. $6,000. No make an
Why has
offer.
somebody not snapped that puppy up?
$6,000. Okay, you're on the echo again. I'm starting to think it's somehow I'm creating the problem, because it's when I hit record that it's happening. So we'll keep filtering on.
Yes.
Okay, we'll start it off with this week an original Macintosh 128K with the original box, with a reasonable starting bid of $512. The description says it includes the Picasso box, the top and bottom foam, keyboard and box and foam, mouse and box and foam, external disk drive, programmer's key, cassettes, miscellaneous manuals and paperwork, original purchase receipts, although this is the second owner. Unfortunately, when you power it up, it boots to a sad face, so it might need a little bit of TLC to that logic board. But look at the condition. Look at the condition of the Picasso box. None of the yellowing.
No yellowing, yeah.
Cracks.
Right.
It's like it's brand new. I mean, the computer itself is sharp. You got a little bit of that weird discoloration of the space bar that you always get. Handful of software and manuals, but yeah, there's the quick somebody ID what's going on, what that error code is.
Get your dead Mac scrolls out.
Yeah.
Tons of pictures. This seller.
Yeah.
I mean, just tons of pictures.
Including the serial number. You can see all the various boxes. And yeah, it does have an external floppy drive too, which is nice. So not a bad deal here if you can get it anywhere near the starting bid of $512. There is a buy it now of $2,048. Of course, you gotta love those numbers. Yeah, 512. This one ships from Garland, Texas, and it has 6 days to go. I'm gonna imagine somebody's gonna get it going with a starting bid of 512 easy, especially with the original box, right? And I mean, I'm sure this can be patched up with a little bit of work. All right, moving on.
All right, next up we have, this is interesting. It the famous Through the Looking Glass 400K floppy disk. So what you are bidding on, or actually just buy it now, is a copy. Okay, it's basically you're buying a 400K floppy disk that they have put Through the Looking Glass on. So this is by no means original. They're not trying to say it's original. Just if you really want a copy of this game and you don't maybe have the means of getting it onto a floppy disk yourself by downloading from somewhere, you can get this person to send you a disk for US dollars, $16. This is coming out of Canada, which means that, like, for us, shipping would be an extra $5 on top of that. So yeah, I don't know what to think about this.
Well, the seller has been doing a lot of these reproductions, taking the time to create labels, and if you've got an old Mac and you don't have the means to go through all the steps which would be necessary.
True. Very true. Very true.
You could spend hours if you're not set up, creating one of these disks. So I mean, not to mention getting floppy disks and then tracking on the software, and then
Now the weird thing though is they're selling different titles at different prices, which I do find that's kind of odd. If you go to their seller page, they're selling other things like Pararena would cost $10 Canadian versus the
I'm not sure.
Oh no, $10 ours, so it's like $5 cheaper. Now that is an 800K floppy, so maybe it is. No, there's a 400K floppy. I'm not exactly sure.
Right, what the means are. They should all, essentially, once you have it all, your system set up, you can
do your own, right?
No, I mean, well, this seller could charge the same thing, whatever they think that their costs of materials and time is.
Exactly.
Steve Mac84 points out that the 400Ks would be a lot more troublesome, possibly, to make, and just to get reliable
400.
They're not making these anymore. At least I don't think so. So tracking down just the blank media is a tough thing along. So I don't think this is a bad deal at all.
Okay. It looks like the seller's done a great job doing the labels, I have to say. kind of going through the different titles that they've got for sale.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, it makes no sense for any of us to pay this money, but
Right. Yeah. Again, you're absolutely right. Somebody who's just getting into the hobby doesn't know, or doesn't have like system discs or anything like that. And
well, they may not even want to get into the hobby per se. They just want to have an old Mac and then play a game or two of their
a game,
childhood.
sure.
So this is a great option. So yeah, I endorse these sorts of efforts. You just have to make sure that you don't think you're getting an actual original
Which they're
disc.
very clear about that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Next, look at this thing. Let's see that box. The box says Newton dummy product, and the description, I'll pull it up here, says Apple Newton dummy product, rare condition is new, non-functioning Apple Newton message pad made of wood, probably a marketing item from the 1990s. The screen in the picture is fake. The item does absolutely nothing other than a great addition to any fan's Apple collection. I attended an event at Apple headquarters in Cupertino in the 90s protesting the cancellation of the Newton. I guess some Apple staff felt sorry for us and brought out a number of different items. This is one of them. It's essentially new in the box. I opened it for the first time to take the photo. I have two. This is the seller has two. This is one of two. So there's a second listing for another one of these. James, I have one. I got this years ago. I didn't attend the sit-in at Cupertino to demand the continuation of the Newton, which is funny. I don't recall that little bit of history that the people went and protested the cancellation of the Newton. I'm sure Steve Jobs came out and talked to him. No, I'm sure he didn't care.
I can just imagine like the siege of a castle where he's up on top of the Cupertino wall with a vat of boiling oil ready to pour down upon the masses.
Yeah. I think
these the hounds.
What were these used for? I'm not sure. Now, there were displays, retail displays that just showed these things. I think they were used as part of those, but maybe they were sent out to folks to, like they do today. They'll do dummy models so that people can make cases or accessories. But I don't think that's the case, because I don't think, Apple wanted to make all the cases, and there weren't a lot of third-party accessories for these things. So these are probably mock-ups that were used in some of those displays. And I think it's pretty collectible. So when you see it this for sale here with a starting bid of 99 cents.
Yeah, that is fantastic.
And no reserve.
It has one bid now.
One bid, yep.
All right, which one have you bid on this?
I mean, it's, does this have a real collectible value? I don't know. I think it's just super, super interesting. It doesn't have the heft. It's pretty light. I'm sure this thing floats. Did
you say wood?
It is. Yeah.
Wow.
It feels like it's wood. I don't know if it's like a lightweight resin or plastic or something, but it certainly has the heft of wood. So anyway, we'll see what those things are really worth here next week. Okay, let's see here. All right, you ready to try this?
Yeah, let's give it a go. Right. Oh, all right. Okay, it is now up to $20. I'm going to check back at the end of the podcast and see what this has gone up to, guys.
How does it go from 99 cents to $20 after two bids?
Well, because somebody put in like a minimum bid of 20, and somebody put in a minimum bid of 20 something more.
Yeah, I got it.
So funny. You are funny. Oh my gosh!
Is that Steve? Is that the one? Is he the one that's cranking this up here?
Yep.
Um,
That's great.
all right.
We'll have to tell the seller that we are expecting a commission on sales. All right.
Yeah.
So do you
Look at
want to
that.
go ahead
I'm
and
gonna. I
bring
want to
up?
watch. I want to see how high this goes. Keep going. Let's get now. All right.
All right. Do I hear? Do I hear? Come on.
All right.
I wish I could do that patter that the.
Moving
Yep. So
on.
you go ahead and bring up pizza box.
Yeah. Well, I'll bring it up here in a moment. We'll
Sure
talk a
thing.
little bit about it first. Okay. Let's go in 3, 2, 1. Well, the objective of today was to dig into some old games that neither John or I had played. Mission Starlight was one, Sky Shadow the other. They're both Cassie and Green as part of the Value series for Macintosh, and I guess these were published by Macsoft. This wound up being sort of an odyssey of sources because these games were, I guess, graphic intensive enough that they wouldn't emulate well.
Yeah.
Basilisk 2 would be the sort of the default emulator. So John had to go to vintage hardware, and you've got Pizza Box, which is your LC475, right?
Yep. Yeah. I've got a. Here we go. I've got my 475 right here. That's what I've got connected. That you'll see that screen shortly on our screen. Yeah.
And since we're streaming live now, it would make sense to display the imagery from those games, but neither of us were previously set up to do that. I mean, you could point the camera at the screen, but then you're going to get that's not going to be good. You want to have a good digital image brought in, and so you got a number of adapters and splicers and
kind of
wired up
probably
a
similar
breadboard.
to Mac 84. So, right. Are you going to bring up?
No, I wasn't. Just to walk us through. So you have on the
All
back
right.
of a 475, you've got the standard Apple
Yeah.
15-pin video connector.
Right. And then I just have an adapter to go from that to VGA. It's just a nice, straight up little connector on the back. I can't even remember what brand it is. It may have even been something from Apple. I really couldn't say. So I got that going to a VGA splitter because I needed to be able to have it connected directly to a monitor because all the other stuff kind of adds a delay in, which is terrible if you're trying to play a game. So I'm going from that to a VGA to HDMI adapter. And then from that, I've got a basically a device that'll take HDMI out and treat it as a video source on your computer. Something that you could use in VLC, or in this instance, what I did is on the application streamer that we use to do the podcast, it just shows up as a webcam.
Yeah.
So that was very nice and easy to do, just to add it as a video source. And so there we go. There's my pizza box.
Right. And it's let's see, we'll rearrange things here there. So it just shows up as another participant in the stream. And all of a sudden you've got a nice live image of a Mac circa 90.
Actual Mac, not emulation, yeah.
Right. And so now he can run either of those games. Now, what are you going to start with?
Sorry?
I said, which game are you going to start with?
Oh, let's do a little bit of Mission Starlight first.
Mission
Now, this is a game you were going to try, but I guess you weren't able to.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So I don't. The one thing I was not able to do is the VGA to HDMI expected to be hooked up to a computer with USB, which of course the 475 does not have. So the audio portion of it doesn't work, but I think you guys can probably hear it.
Yeah.
So playing with this. I'm sorry.
I was going to read from the manual here. I was going to describe.
Okay, great.
So the manual says, "Welcome. Thank you for purchasing Mission Starlight. Even the most jaded video game enthusiast will be ecstatic at the explosive, realistic flight action mission Starlight. Be sure to get your work done before you start playing. Once you start, there's no end. So get ready. Your starfighter awaits to take you into pure hyperactive arcade madness. So did you get into pure hyperactive arcade madness?
Yeah, this one. All right, so this is kind of fun. I've only gotten to 2 levels, but basically this is a kind of combination. So like the first level that you get to is very much like Gyrus, or if you're not familiar with Gyrus, maybe a little bit like Tempest. So you've got enemies coming in from the center, and you're blasting them. And I've just determined that trying to talk and play a game at the same time does not work well for me. But and then the second wave that you get to is very much like Space Harrier. Kind of cool. Tell you what, let's while we talk, let's see if there's a demo on this one. There's a demo on the other one. I don't see one.
I asked John, I thought, was this a PC port? And I couldn't find any evidence. You say it was a Mac native game from the start.
Yeah.
I look at these games and I look at how, because you're sort of used to having this sort of consistency of interface, and this game doesn't have any kind of Macintosh elements at all in it.
Well, but neither did Crystal Quest.
Sure.
Yeah. They kind of did their own thing with the games.
Mm-hmm.
And wow, all right. There we go.
One thing you can't do is you can't play the game using the converted on your new Mac screen because of the delay. So you actually have to turn
Yeah. So what I'm actually, the reason I'm not looking at the screen is because I need to be able to see it without the delay.
But it looks, the colors are vibrant. The action is smooth.
Oh yeah.
For a classic shooter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm definitely going to play some more of this one.
Hey, there's a familiar dialogue box. Okay, there is them.
So, all right. So the game I did play a little bit more of was Sky Shadow. So again, very reminiscent. A lot of these games are very reminiscent of something that already existed. In this case, this is got a lot of the same gameplay as
Defender.
Scramble.
Oh, Scramble
or Defender, but more Scramble because there's no where you've got your forward fire and you've got your bombs.
Mm-hmm.
This one they also have the smart bombs, which of course they had in Crystal Quest as well.
And Defender.
I'm sorry?
And Defender.
Okay, yeah. So this one does have a demo mode. So let me just put on the demo as opposed to you watching me play terribly. It's kind of fun. It's got power-ups as you play the game. There we go. It's probably a little bit too in your face with the power. So this one does have a lot of stuff to run into and kill yourself. I do like the fact that you've got so many lives, but the way this one works is each life also there is a shield element to it. So as you get hit by things, you don't immediately die, and then as you play, there's like I said, there's power ups you run into. They give you different better weapons or little med packs to bring your shields back up to full. It's very fun, and I did play this one. I did play several games of this one. It's got a lot of fun sound effects too, which is kind of similar to Crystal Quest. And again, very vibrant colors. The scrolling background on the bottom is just so nice and smooth. This one was intended to be able to be played on a black and white system as well as color. So, hence the slightly smaller screen that you see on there.
Yeah, you can play this as early as a Mac Plus.
Yeah.
So that's it's amazing how much they could do with these games with these minimum processing requirements, and especially when they're coming out with these games this late and still supporting those old platforms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you have I'm trying to see if I had the date when this was published, but this game wound up being in Macworld Magazine's Game Hall of Fame and got a Mac user 5 mouse rating. So,
So yeah, and I'm sure I've barely touched the surface of what this game allows.
mhm.
So one of the funny things about the game is it does the manual very. It's got an on-screen help as far as what the controls are, but it very little information on what you should avoid, what you should get for power-ups, anything like that. So it is kind of a literally a trial by fire sort of thing, because things are firing at you left and right.
Mm-hmm. Well, great. Well, I think this was a good opportunity because now you have this capability.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to, of being able to when we're doing other software now, of being able to just do it as a separate video input as opposed to trying to do stuff in emulator. And because of this, also I it's been a while since I had this 475 set up, but now I after this goes back onto my computer desk in the house with my Apple II GS that I just recently rehooked up, and it's nice being able to play around on the actual hardware versus just emulation. So
Sure.
yeah.
All right. And just as a reminder, you can get these games over at Macintosh Garden. Okay, we are moving on. Let me check the auction status here. We're still holding at 2 bids, $20.44 for the one. Let's see, the other one is sitting at 99 cents still. So
oh well, all right, come on, guys.
Yeah, you're gonna want to bid on both of those. Yeah, that's a cool collectible.
Because all things DG must be a Gyrus fan also. Yes, Gyrus is an awesome game, and again, this has a lot of the great feel of Gyrus. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go in 3, 2, 1. Well, it wouldn't be appropriate if we didn't just fill the news with all the events, or the event and all the announcements that occurred last week at the spring-loaded event. Quickly, let's see, what are some of the things that we learned about? And pretty much all of them were spot on with all the rumors that were out, right? The upgraded Apple TV 4K, although not a huge upgrade, though I'm not necessarily sure much was needed other than that remote, which they took care of that, so that's nice. An M1 based iPad Pro. All right. Air tags. That was also rumored for many years, because I guess it took 2 years for them to get approval for the wireless part of that. Apple Podcast subscriptions was mentioned. They have a family plan for the Apple Card, but the big announcement was the new iMac, a redesigned iMac, first time in a long time. And there's a lot of controversy out there on the decisions made iMac. So we'll talk about that. But for an old Mac fan, an old Apple fan, of course, what strikes out greatly about that is 6 colors.
Yep.
And it is so deliberate. Now when you I think they actually call the red pink, but it is red. I mean,
well, until you look at the front, because the sides are very nice, vibrant colors, but of course the front's got it's kind of a more muted version of all the colors. I just want to point out first of all and say, yes, 6 colors, but that green, that's a terrible green. It's really more of a turquoise or a teal. As a fan of green, I really wish they had gone more for actual Apple logo green on that.
Right. Well, they've got the 6 colors more or less of the Apple logo plus silver. I couldn't help but bring up so this little animation here of the dancing ones certainly looks a lot like if I can find it. If I can find it, this, right?
Ah, yes.
Commercial. And of course, it's too bad they don't have a commercial that reintroduced that song. You get flashbacks, right?
And let's hope that the song doesn't get this video banned or pulled from YouTube.
Yeah, hopefully not. So that's exciting. So some of the controversy, though, it's not necessarily the colors. Everybody, I think, likes the idea that colors were introduced.
Oh yeah,
but it's a couple of things. The chin still exists, right? Apple always pushing to make things thin. Thin is in, and whether it's the laptops and or the desktops, and so to make it thin, they had to keep the chin because you needed someplace to put the computer, right? And so there's a lot of people that say, "Oh, that ugly chin," although I don't know. But the for me though, it's not just the chin; it's there's no Apple logo now in the center.
Yeah, right. If you're gonna have the chin still, first of all right, let's. How thin do you need your desktop system to be? If they had made it, 15 millimeters thick versus 11, and been able to put a little bit more electronics behind the screen, would that really have hurt anyone's feelings? No.
Well, you'd have to make it. I mean, it's a trade-off. So yeah, if you'd have to have a bump, then is what you'd have to have, right? If you wanted the rest thin, you'd have to put that chin somewhere in the back and have a. But they want nice smooth,
or just make the whole thing a little bit thicker is what I'm saying.
I mean, well, you'd have to make the whole thing 8 times as thick or whatever, or not 8 times, but I mean, you'd have to take the thickness required. It'd have to be twice as thick, essentially, right?
Twice as thick, yeah.
Twice as thick, and then you have a lot of space that was unused because you're making it twice as thick when you only needed one slice of it to be twice as thick.
All right. Okay.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I get it. Whatever. That's fine. At least give us the Apple logo.
Give us the Apple logo on the front. Exactly. Now on the previous iMacs, the Apple logo on the front actually served more than one purpose.
It did?
Yeah. That's where the IR port is behind right? that Apple logo.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
And then the other thing that people are whining about is the white border.
Yeah.
The bezel border. Like, why is that white? Like, well, I mean, I don't know, because it looks kind of like that, right? I mean, it looks like, and even the iMac G5s that followed were white. So it's not like white's a bad thing. It's been there before.
And I think it aesthetic goes. It makes it a lighter looking computer for the colors. You've got these nice vibrant colors, and it just adds a little bit of brightness to it. I think is part of it.
The pastel light colors wouldn't look good with a black border. But of course, you could have, I don't know, done something else. But I think ultimately what it does is going to wind up differentiate between the consumer and the pro, where you have the pro has the more serious borders, right? And the consumer ones are more playful and, the colors and the white borders. So pricing, I don't know how they can do it, given the cost of all these things. They got the M1 chip. Of course, they're able to do that in quantity and come out cheaper that way. But by the time you have the keyboard and this 4.5K Retina display, and there's a lot packed in there for $12.99. Of course, you got to pay a little bit more to get more of the ports. There's always that issue. People not enough ports, no SD card slot, whatever. But we're gonna have one in our house soon.
I'm very tempted. I have to say, I keep talking about my 2011 iMac is starting to feel.
Oh yeah, this would be a good for you.
It is a really good starting price for what
So
you're
you
going to
wouldn't get
get.
green because you don't like the green. What color would you get?
I'm leaning toward orange. It's my one of my other favorite colors.
I remember, when the other colored IMAX. Now, there's a lot of comparisons to the other colored IMAX. Those G3 IMAX, but those were not the 6 colors of the Apple logo.
No.
Steve Jobs would have nothing to do with the 6 colors of the Apple logo. So they were very much not reminiscent of that history. They were fruit flavors. Okay. But do you remember when they used to do that? And I think they moved twice as many blueberry than any other flavor back then. And I don't know, I never saw, or I don't recall what the numbers were. I bet maybe somebody out there that had some background in the sales would know what they were. But I wonder what the stinker was, right? That they had.
Oh, sure. I'm
Numbers.
guessing strawberry.
You think so? No,
I think so.
I don't know. So like in this lineup, I don't know, maybe that green or I think even the orange, but we're going to be getting a green here
Okay.
for my mom. She's due for an upgrade. She has the previous generation and the spring snapped in it, so it no longer holds its.
Oh no.
Yeah, so we stick an iPhone box in there to hold it up. Apparently, it's pretty major surgery to fix that, but we're doing what Apple wants you to do. When the hinge snaps, you just buy a new one. And so,
What you can do is you can get a VESA mount adapter for that.
yeah,
Put it on an arm.
well, it's due for an upgrade. It's quite a few years old, and it will go up here on my shelf, and so I'll have all the generations of the iMacs up there. But yeah, so that was the big news. No new M1 chips, so I guess we're holding off until we have maybe some Pro models later this year. And so people call it the M1X. We'll see. And then these new iMacs, I'm sure we'll be seeing them hit the hands of reviewers and people talking about them, but I'm sure they're going to be just great given the performance we've already seen out of these chips in the other models. All right. 65 Scribes says strawberry and tangerine were the worst sellers. So yeah, you were right. Strawberry.
Oh, Mac 84 has Steve has a great, the nice thing about not having an Apple logo on the front is it's a great place to put one of your 6 color Apple stickers.
Right.
Which I know I would certainly be doing.
I think people use the chin for Post-it notes is what a lot of people.
That's a good one.
Well, speaking of Post-it notes, and I didn't talk about this let's bring this up. Spotted this. So it was Declan RG over on Reddit in the Mac group there. Noticed that the desktop pictures of the 6 different iMacs, when pieced together, they overlay the hello. Right?
Yeah.
This hello. Kind of an interesting sleuthing there to see that. And also, those desktop screens, very reminiscent of the, what was it? The
OS 9.
The foam.
Yeah.
It was a desktop picture back then that was very similar. And every time they do this deliberate nod to the past by using this hello, I got to think that there is the vast majority of the people out there watching these presentations that don't even know where this came from, right? They don't know that this is what we're talking about. So I wish they would make it a little more obvious for the folks that don't. It would be, I don't know. I guess it wouldn't be as cool for us because we wouldn't be on the inside, but obviously that's where it came from the original Macintosh. Hello. So, all right, moving on. I guess we're at the end of the episode, so let's just close it out? Are you still messing around with that quick take? Are you?
I have not had a chance to really do anything more with that. So I don't know if what we want to try to do next week. Um, oh yeah, well I know one thing I'm going to try to do next week, and that is virtually attend WazFest. It's
Oh
happening
yeah,
next weekend.
that's right.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to.
Let's mention that in the outro.
Okay.
All right, let's go in 3, 2, 1. Okay, well, that about wraps it up. One thing we didn't mention in the news, because it was all filled with the Apple event, was the announcement of WazFest 19. That's I guess the 19th installment, not because it's 2021. WazFest 19, the theme is freedom. And if you're not familiar, WazFest is the Apple II festival they hold down under in Australia. But because most things are virtual, that gives the opportunity for folks that aren't in Australia to attend. So, John, you're going to attend? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where do you go to get information? I guess
you can. They've got a Facebook page, but if you just do a search on WazFest, you'll get you'll find the link. It's pretty easy. Of course, the hard thing for me will be figuring out what the date and time would be for up here in the States. Because a day behind and different hours. So
it occurs in the future, so you have to get up like a day early or something like that. I'm not sure. All right. Well, and what are we going to talk about here? I don't know. We haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah. Oh, hopefully I'll have a little bit of stuff to talk about from WazFest. But of course, WazFest is definitely more, I think, Apple II oriented than, say, Macintosh. But I would bet there is going to be some crossover, I would guess. Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe a report from WazFest would be in order. All right. Well, until next week, remember, it's not old.
It's retro.
Okay. Say something right now, John.
It's retro.
Yeah, see, it's my recording is screwing everything up.
Oh.
But
Trina says I should do some more games for next week. I definitely want to do some more games. Having this setup now, there's so many games I've never played because I didn't really get into
Gyrus earlier. Yeah, I don't know Gyrus.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, maybe at some point we'll have to do a stream from downstairs, and I'll show off my arcade collection, which is
Gyrus was not that game.
That was a full up arcade game. Awesome. And I do have one downstairs, so haha.
Yeah, and don't you have those? Oh, you have an original one.
Yes. I've got
the original tube. I didn't know if it was retrofitted with a LCD or anything.
No. The only games downstairs that are LCD is a couple emulator specific systems that I'm working on. So everything else is tube, which is why a lot of them don't work because I've got to recap a bunch of monitors.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thanks everybody for hanging in with us and through all our audio difficulties. But it looks like with all John's rebooting, it wasn't solving what was happening because it was on my end for some reason. So we're gonna
play around
and figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
But
there you go. Mac84 Steve says he'd like to have us on the Open Talk video podcast show at some point.
Oh,
I would love it.
Yeah, whenever.
All things DG. Are you asking what arcade games I have?
Probably. Yeah, he's got lots of stuff.
Yep. Let's see. Just off the top of my head, Star Wars not working. Disatron, Environmental, Scramble, Joust, Dig Dug, Centipede, Asteroids, Qbert, Gyrus, as we mentioned, Rastan, Scramble, Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, and a couple others. But those are my working ones. So arcade games. Yep.
Neat.
Yep.
All right. Okay. Well, John, let's
right.
let's sign off, and then we'll
Yep.
dig into our audio problems here. All right.
All right.
Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
everyone.